When you think of a Minecraft item which is rare, prestigious, and powerful, you may think of the golden apple. A holy object, extremely uncommon and extremely useful. Rumored to be dropped upon Notch's death in game and worshipped by others, the golden apple has accumulated quite the legend surrounding it over the years. However, did you know that the golden apple was actually created by a player? A player who only got the attention of Notch due to their immense contributions to early Minecraft. A player who became so well known in 2009 and almost single-handedly initiated the original Minecraft multiplayer community. And a player who was so influential on the game that they enabled some of the first ever custom Minecraft game modes and pioneered Minecraft modding. However, this player and their contributions are almost entirely forgotten. Forced to leave the Minecraft forums and community due to threats of a ban from apparently Notch and others, and almost entirely unknown by modern Minecraft players. Today I'm going to tell you the legend behind the golden apple and its creator, JTE, the player who arguably changed Minecraft forever. Oh, and be sure to tap that subscribe button for me, of course. No pressure. Our story begins on July the 11th, 2009. Minecraft had but a speck of the popularity it does now, with majority of the community communicating through the Minecraft forums and old IRC channels with Notch. No large YouTube channels, websites, servers, or anything existed yet, just small groups of players. JTE would make a post declaring that she had created a 100% custom from scratch Minecraft server. Now, at the time, Minecraft was still in Classic and was played in browser form. Players could only play online by connecting to a bunch of player-run servers. JTE was one such player who ran a server, describing it as some form of hell. There was no hack detection or prevention, no automatic map backups, meaning worlds could get corrupted and lost easily, all free accounts could join, and grief, and the map sizes were very limited. JTE was fed up with all these issues, building very creative player traps to keep griefers at bay, and experimenting with creating mods to deal with such issues. Early mods were different to what you would think, as players would instead modify the Minecraft server jar, basically changing how the game ran server-side, more like a plugin. Modifications at this time were tough to create, however, as Notch had taken steps to obfuscate the game's code, meaning it was very difficult to understand in order to protect the game's intellectual property. So, what mods could be made at the time were simple, such as this mod from September the 11th, 2009, which made it so when lava and water interacted, it would form glass instead, but more about old mods in my other video. Anyways, after experimenting with over 2,300 lines of code, entirely documenting the network protocol of Minecraft Classic servers, and 26 sleepless hours of testing to make sure the web client and server were compatible, JTE had managed to completely make sense of Notch's code and create an entirely custom server, astounding the small community at the time. If you're confused as to what a custom server is, just think of it as a 2009 version of Paper, Bucket, or Spigot. But JTE had managed to do this without looking at, modifying, or compromising any of Notch's code, which is basically trying to read a message in complete darkness. It was incredible that she pulled this off. Players would immediately start asking JTE if she could release the server publicly. So what exactly did it do? Well, as I mentioned earlier, Minecraft servers used to be very basic. You could log in, see and talk to other players, build with unlimited resources in a tiny area, and that was it. There was no teleportation, worlds, custom plugins, anti-grief, you know, the essential multiplayer stuff. JTE's server software changed that. She was able to modify the Minecraft server jar so you could have several different game modes in which you could and couldn't break blocks. Furthermore, JTE's server software could generate maps, automatically detect hackers, allow for block painting, create custom water and lava physics, and build trees with just a single block. And keep in mind, this was before saplings worked, so JTE was actually the first person to ever do this, even before Notch. However, most crucially, JTE's server allowed players to host multiple maps instead of just the one small one, and also reload maps from backups on the fly, meaning no longer did massive griefs spell game over. 8 days after releasing her custom server, JTE would begin running her very first custom Spleef server. Spleef was a known little game players would play at the time, but everything was manual, meaning that every time a Spleef game ended, players would have to rebuild the platform. JTE's custom Spleef server made it so sand and water would not fall, building was disabled, and the map would automatically reset every time a game was played, meaning players no longer needed to rebuild. Furthermore, it had a handful of custom commands. This was likely one of the very first ever Minecraft multiplayer game modes, or minigames. JTE was actually ahead of Notch in terms of some elements of development at this point, even fixing issues such as the notorious infinite lava flood bug, which would eventually crash a server. She became known on the Minecraft forums as the Minecraft hacking god, well respected by everyone and loved for all her fixes to the core issues of the game. But not all was smooth sailing from there. While JTE had pulled off the impossible and had created amazing custom server software without even modifying, looking at, or compromising any of Notch's code, she had caught the attention of Notch in the process. Notch would join one of JTE's custom servers after hearing about how it was able to handle lava floods well through an IRC channel. Upon joining, Notch would flood JTE's server with lava, to which it supposedly didn't handle too well, but still better than Notch's server. Notch also had a golden name over his head at the time, and JTE was jealous and invented colored names for server mods, administrators, owners, and more. JTE would give her the color red, which ended up being the color for server operators and admins in Minecraft later on, meaning she was the one who started that. Back to the forums now though. In the same thread, JTE would post about her massive planned game modes like Zombie Tag, Infection, Battleship, and more. JTE would comment, "Notch gets pissed off at me sometimes for undermining all my work." His work, yes, hinting at the fact that much of the work was her doing, and she had sunk much time into it. One of the early Minecraft forums administrators, Citric Squid, would reply mentioning Notch had a valid reason for being annoyed, and that coding is only a small part of game creation, and the actual development of the game's mechanics and gameplay are far more important, suggesting that JTE was trying to write off the community Notch had built. Zuruki, another Minecraft forums administrator at the time, who previously was very in support of what JTE was doing, did a complete 180, stating JTE was stealing customers from Notch, undermining his plans for server mods and game modes, and that if JTE went too far with her custom server modifications, he would remove them and ban JTE from the forums. He even removed JTE's special forum title. A couple other Minecraft forums users would join in on the discussion, most siding with JTE, and the exchange continued surprisingly politely back and forth. Then JTE would respond that she did nothing to undermine Notch and that they had misunderstood what she had said, and was disturbed at how they had been attacking her and seemingly eagerly threatening her with a ban. Citric Squid responded saying JTE's custom server would make less people pay Notch if hers was freely available, and she continued getting attacked by both forum admins. It continues to go back and forth for some time, so let me summarize. Citric Squid and Zeroki believed that if JTE's custom server kept developing the way it was going, it would undermine Notch's work and offer many players custom features for free, thus potentially stealing customers from Notch. JTE argued that she would work with Notch and that they were overreacting to future possibilities, which likely wouldn't happen. JTE tried to get them to stop arguing and threatening her, but the admins continued, and as such, JTE gave up and moved on from the forums, feeling she was no longer welcome. But here's what's weird. Notch apparently never threatened JTE or didn't like what she was doing. In fact, he supported her project, even creating skin-grabbing code to support her colored rank names, telling her she was free to do anything with the server software she wanted, which was all stated by JTE in a post recounting her experiences 5 years later. So it seemed that she was unjustly bullied off the Minecraft forums by two Minecraft forums administrators? It's hard to tell because all this happened so long ago and the story is so muddled. But that wasn't the worst of it yet. JTE would sell the server software in private for around $10 to 14 people after leaving the forums, but it was eventually leaked and spread like wildfire for free. And thus, this began what would be a beautiful future of Minecraft multiplayer, as JTE's custom server allowed players to do so much and be so much more creative and innovative than before. Dozens of early Minecraft Classic servers would use JTE's software over time, and she truly was the pioneer of Minecraft multiplayer that never really got credit for what she did. So, we are like 8 or so minutes into the video now, and you're probably wondering, what the hell all this has to do with the golden apple? Well, while JTE had left the forums for the most part at this point, she was still interested in Minecraft and still ran the same website she used when she had her custom server. JTE often reached out to Notch offering to help him with networking in his updates, but Notch turned her down, but this displayed that Notch was still aware of JTE. When crafting was first introduced to the game in Minecraft InDev during January of 2010, JTE would add pictures of all the recipes and how to craft them onto her website. This was very useful at the time because there was no little book in game telling you crafting recipes, and since it hadn't been around for that long, they weren't really common knowledge yet. Around the same time crafting was added, Notch had removed apples from the game as he had been testing them, so JTE jokingly put that you could only get apples by killing Notch, then next to it displayed that if you put 8 gold ingots around an apple, it would make a golden apple. The website was published with this crafting list including the golden apple on February the 23rd, 2010. 4 days later in Minecraft InfDev 201.00227-1, the golden apple was added to the game, using gold blocks instead of gold ingots initially. JTE had unknowingly and jokingly just invented the golden apple. Golden apples initially healed all 10 hearts, and up until beta 1.8, they could only be found in dungeon chests, since apples were unobtainable at this time, meaning they couldn't be crafted. This would lead to many awesome series, such as Ant Venom's Hunt for the Golden Apple, and really did cement the Golden Apple as the strongest and rarest item in the game at the time, giving it its legendary status. It was so rare that players would often brag on the forums and in videos upon finding one. In the same InfDev update that added crafting, code would be officially added to the game that would make players named Notch drop an apple when they died, just as JTE had jokingly suggested on her website. So the legend is true, Notch did drop an apple upon death, just not a golden one. That being said, there doesn't seem to be a recorded case of this ever actually happening legitimately. Nobody has seemed to have evidence they killed the actual Notch in game. All that this little Easter egg led to was an urban myth and a multitude of fake clickbait videos. In Minecraft 1.3.1, released August of 2012, players named Notch no longer dropped an apple upon death. There was only about a 2.5 year span of when it could have happened legitimately, so if you know of any footage or screenshots, please let me know. Golden apples would continue to receive changes throughout the game's various updates. In Beta 1.8, they were changed to restore 10 hunger, all health, and also give regeneration for 30 seconds. In 1.0.0, a new type of golden apple would be added to the game, known as the Enchanted Golden Apple, or as players coined it, the Notch or God Apple. The crafting recipe was changed multiple times, being crafted with gold nuggets, and then ingots as JTE initially suggested. The effects it gave were also changed, mainly when 1.9 was released, nerfing the God Apple a bit. In all this time, however, the Golden Apple had lost its legendary status, as it was now craftable and far easier to obtain, and pay-to-win servers would quite literally give them out to players like they were dirt. However, in 1.9, the God Apple was made uncraftable again, and regained some of its legendary status, as it became extremely rare once more. And to this day, it still excites players who manage to luckily find one, as well as being one of the strongest and rarest items in the game. That's the story of the Golden Apple and the legend of JTE, the player who deserved far more recognition for their contributions to early Minecraft. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe, join my Discord, and follow me on Twitter if you did. Thank you all so much for watching.